Today, I would like to show you and walk you through the process of posting a blog post to your own blog. The reason why I'm going to go through this today, there's a lot of technical details and there's a process that I use, and I want to show everybody what that process was and give the rationale of why I go through the processes that I do. There's a number of reasons why I put the blog, the post that I want to put into a blog, I put into HTML editor first before I post it to the blog. That way I have complete control over how it's going to look on the blog post. So without further ado, I need to stop. So when I first start writing a blog, I typically start off keeping track of what it is that I want to write, and I put it in OneNote. And the reason why I use OneNote, it's a Microsoft product, part of Microsoft Office. I think if you get the Microsoft Office Student Edition, it comes with that. And it has the ability to have multiple notebooks and multiple, you can arrange it in tabs on pages and in different notebooks. So you can have lots of different notebooks for each thing. The nice thing about this is it's shared up in SkyDrive, or actually OneDrive now is what it's called. And I'm able to access this same notepad from any device that I have. So I can access it from my phone. I can access it from my computer. I can synchronize it to the various computers I use. I have a work computer, I have a home computer, and I have a tablet, and it synchronizes between all of those. So all of my notes are in one place. And if I'm sitting around doing something, I thought, oh, this is a good idea for a blog post, I can go ahead and start typing it up. And no matter where I go, it follows me where it is. And I use OneNote. It's been around for quite some time. A lot of people aren't really aware of the functionality or the power that it has. But there's a lot of other videos out there if you want to learn more about OneNote, but it gives you really great control over what you want to do. Now, so here I have the startings of what I have set up for a blog post. And what I typically do, because I use OneNote, OneNote doesn't have necessarily the same power to do a grammar check that Word does. So I would normally take this and copy it and then post it into Word. So I'm going to do that right now, so that when I open up Word and post it, now then I would go here to review, and then I'd go to spelling and grammar and have it go through here. And as it goes through, it's going to see words, obviously, and check the spelling. And I'm going to put ignore all for this one because it is an Italian word or Latin word. And so I've gone through this, and basically it found nothing other than the one foreign language word that I have in there. So I'm just going to disregard this. Normally I would copy this and then put it back into OneNote, but I don't need to save it because there wasn't any grammar checks to find. Typically a good idea also is to reread it just in case, because sometimes the grammar check doesn't always catch bad grammar. So that's just a check I do. It kind of helps increase the quality of the posts that I have there. Now, after I've done this, the next thing I want to do is I go into my Creative Cloud with Adobe, and I use Dreamweaver. And Dreamweaver is an HTML write-up program. And the reason why I use it, if it'll launch here for me, is I want to get the HTML so that if I do anything special with the page that I'm doing, I can control it completely. Oftentimes spacing is an issue, especially if you copy from Word and put it directly into your HTML editor that's on the website. Oftentimes it doesn't work out that great for you. So I'm just going to go File and Create New, and I just want an HTML page. And it has HTML5. I'm just going to leave that here, and I'm going to say create. Here's my HTML. Now, what I want to do, the first thing I want to do is go back to this text that I have, and I want to copy it, and then I'm going to paste it here. And the older version used to have paste special, and then you could control how your pasting goes. So I paste this, and notice, you'll notice right off the bat, I got this extra space in here that I don't want in here. And if you actually look down here in the code, it's just putting in an extra space. I don't need that, so I'm actually going to take these out, because this is one of the reasons why I do this, is to avoid having this. And then when it's all done, it's showing me what it looks up here. Now, oftentimes what I'll also do is I may check and change different aspects of this. Like if I want in proper way to do this, if it's a foreign language word, you want to take it, highlight it, and then I want to make it into, and then you want to go up here to the format, and then you're going to go to HTML style, and then of course with a foreign language, you want to make sure you italicize it. And see, it's going to put in here the code that you need to have, so you don't have to do it. So now I'm going to go to the other section here, the other word that I want to do. I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to go to format, go to HTML, and go to italics. And now I've got it both in italics, and you can see up here that it's italicized and the way I want it to look. Now, in addition to this, one of the other things I like to do in my blog posts is to put in a picture. And so I'm going to go in here because I'm going to go to the web. I'm going to find the picture that I want. I'm going to get the HTML code to embed this into my site or to my blog post. The reason why I do this is I don't want to take up all the space that I have on my website posting pictures up there that I can put them. I already have the pictures in another location, and I have a Flickr account, which is a Yahoo company, and it allows you to have your pictures set up. And what I can do, let me close this so you can see what it is. If you want to share a photo, like this is the photo I want to use for this blog post, I can select this, and then I can select HTML code because that's what I want. Because you also have the option of doing embedded, which does iframes, which works for some blogs. But I want to use HTML because I'm going to put it in here just like this. And I'm also able to select the size of the photo I want. Now this depends upon the width of the columns in your your blog post that you have yourself. So you have the ability to pick all these different sizes that may work for you. And I just happen to know that 500 by 332 usually works, somewhere in that range. So I'm going to select that one. Now I'm going to take this HTML code, and see, here's the hard part. If you just had the HTML code, how would you put that into your normal website blog? A lot of editors have the ability to do it. I'm going to go here and select it and put paste right here. Now I've set this up. Now you can see in the what you see is what you get area. You can see that I have the picture shows up. The code is down here. And notice that the code also, you see the width and the height and all that kind of stuff, is all part of this. So it's already managing all that for you. You don't have to really understand what the code's doing other than to put it into the right place. Another thing, sometimes what I like to do is actually go through here and actually take this code and then center it. And you can, if you know the code, you can just type it in. Oops, helps you type the right thing. And then make sure you just close the tag. If you know your HTML. Oh, it already did it for me. Select it, boom. Now notice, this is the way I want it to look on my website. Is I want the picture in the center, I want the text underneath it for the blog post. The other thing that I like to do is come up with a nifty title for my blog post before I get ready. What I've done now at this point in time is handled all the blog. I've written the blog post. I've set up the HTML the way I want it so that basically I look up here and I can see kind of exactly what I'm going to look like. Now for my blog post, it's going to be a little bit narrower than this, so it's not going to be this wide. And I know that, and you just get used to that. The next thing you want to do, typically what I do is I prepare in advance like a title, and I'll type it up. And I usually like to type everything up in Word first, just to make sure that I didn't fat finger something and spell something wrong. So for this, you know, I don't know what would be a good title for this. And I don't know. I want to call it Philosophy, the Basis for All Other Knowledge, something like that. Let's just go with that one. So that's going to be my title, and I'm just playing around with that. Sometimes I like to restate my title in my blog post, but I'm not going to do that here. So I know it's good to go. There's no grammar issue showing up. Spelling's all good. Now I just have to go to my blog. And when I go to my blog, here's my blog. And yeah, the blog doesn't look the greatest in the world. I'm planning on updating it, but this is just how it is viewed. This can be changed. This is just a template set up to make my blog look a certain way. This is, by the way, running on Joomla, which is a content management system, which basically is an application that's for the web that allows you to do things like blogs and websites. And it makes it so that you don't have to do all that coding that I just showed you that we did. So it can help you write your blog posts there in advance. Then in addition to that, um, because I use Joomla, um, the blog isn't exactly Joomla's blog functionality that's built into it. It doesn't exactly meet all of my needs. Some of the things that I want to have, like this like and share and stuff like this on the website, were not available natively to Joomla. So, and some of these things like doing the tags and having comments, and one of the ways that I deal with comments, if you select one of my things, select a blog post and go here, you get all your social media icons. You get the ability to do bookmarks and subscribe to this entry, and there's an RSS feed for it. This is all part of the blog application that I bought, and the one that I bought was made by Stack Ideas, and it's called Easy Blog. It's a one-time fee. You pay for it. You put it into your site. If you want updates, you have to pay for the new updates on it. So basically, what I have is after I do a blog post here, it gives you the ability for people to rate it with stars and tell you how many people have rated it. And then also for the comments, you notice the comments actually are use Facebook to do the comments. So the nice thing about this is that if anybody wanted to comment and be a troll, they have to use their real identity or their real Facebook account. So people are less likely to want to do that. So that kind of controls the comments. It may control it to the point where if you're trying to start a conversation, it may end it because nobody wants to use it. But because I want to make sure that it's not um, uh, derogatory or anything like this, this usually helps weed all that stuff out. Anyway, so I would log into the back end of this, and I've already logged into the back end of this. And when you log into the back side of it, of the website, this is giving you all the information about your website. And in Joomla, I have to look under components to go to Easy Blog to look at my blogs. So I'm going to go Easy Blog and blogs, and I have to log in again because it took too long to log in. Now you notice that I have all my blogs that are listed here. These are all the ones that have already been posted. So I'm just going to say, hey, I want a new one. And now it comes up. There's title and permalink, and you can just leave those things alone. I have the ability in here to go through this and select different authors. And so I can select an author. And then you can also select categories, and you can set up your own categories. And then also, if you want it to be published or unpublished, it means you can actually set up a blog in advance and make it unpublished, which means that it's just sitting there, but nobody can see it, but you can see it. And then you can later on edit it. So if you have like 5 that you want to do, but you don't want to do this whole part that you're doing right here, you can put them all up there, make them unpublished, and then publish them at a later date. You have the ability to display it on the front page, send notification emails, all these things can be turned on or off. You can also then set up a date for it to be published and a date for it to be turned off. You can you can even change what the creation date is. So if you wanted it to backdate it till Monday or whatever, because you always want to do stuff on Monday or something like that. You can also set up permissions for it, and you can set up copyright. The copyright is here would be if you wanted to set up a different copyright. There is a global copyright that is set up for the site. And so this is just if you want to change it. So I want to go back down here, grab my title that I have. I take my title, oops, and I'm going to put it into the title bar, and it's going to put it up here. Now it makes the permalink for me. And this is basically just an easy way when you look up here in the URL, and you'll see this at the end in the URL, that this becomes a part of the URL. This is good stuff for search engine optimization and stuff like this. So you want to make sure you have this. Now, if I could type my Easy Blog in here, I even have the ability to copy and paste. And the reason why I don't copy and paste is, as you saw before, sometimes it puts in extra spaces and then I got to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. So now when I do this, I'm going to go back to my Dreamweaver app. Now notice that there's this tag called body and then there's tag that closes body. I don't want those tags in it. So I'm going to grab everything else basically right there, and I'm going to go hit copy. Now I'm going to go back to my blog here and I'm going to paste this in there. So I've already just set in here all the HTML texts and it's ready to go. Now, before I actually finish this and do this, I like to go in here and I like to add in my tags. So my tags, I have all kinds of tags that are already set up that I've used before at other things. I can just type in here and see which one I have. I can find some different ones. Let's see what else I got in there. Reason. And I can just pick them. And I believe what you can do is you can do up to like 5. Yeah, there it is. You can do up to 5. You can do map locations, you can do trackbacks, you can do some other metadata and stuff like that. And so I got that all set up. Now, once I'm done with this, I can save or I can save and close. So normally what I do is I hit save and close. Now it's listed there. It tells me that it's site-wide, which means it's not just on the front page, and that it's set up, who the author is, and it's ready to go. So now what I can do is I can actually go back, and what I typically do is I just go back to the home page to verify that it's posted and that it's set up the way I want it to be. And so here it is. Here's my blog post. Here's my tags. Just like, notice nobody's seen it yet because it just got posted. Now I can also then, and notice the way my blog is set up so that only the first part of the blog, first so many lines, first paragraph, so to speak, shows up, that if they want to see it, they have to click onto it and then get into it to actually see the whole thing. This gives me the ability then to have my front page have a lot more history on it, and it doesn't get too long. And then this gets people into the blog as well. Now note, and gets them into the area where they can make comments and whatnot. Now notice the stuff that I set up, like the italics is set up in here. You can see that in the various different places I did. And notice the picture that I set up is set up to be in the center as I wanted it. And it gives you the ability to really control it when you do HTML yourself. Now, if you don't know HTML, you can have some editors do it, but you'll end up getting frustrated along the way because you say, oh, I want to do this or I want to do that. And some of those editors don't give you the ability to do that. Some of the other ones, like Dreamweaver, is made by Adobe, and it's a very powerful program. It allows you to do all kinds of things with HTML. So things outside the box that you may want to do in the future. And again, you don't have to know a lot of the HTML to use it. As you saw, I just posted it up into here. It did the HTML for me. And then I just looked for and changed those other areas where it puts in extra spaces. One thing I've noticed also is this is a paragraph tag, and this paragraph tag says on the space in the document, give a paragraph space. There's another way to do it, which is called a line break or a break. And if you put the break in, it doesn't give you this full space in between, but if you put 2 breaks in, then it does. One of the things happens is if you want to take this paragraph, let's say, and I wanted to center this paragraph. So if I went to formatting and I went to paragraph alignment and wanted to set it up a certain way, if there was breaks in it and not paragraph, then it'll actually cut more text than I want it to. So if this was all, I can show you as an example. If I put this in here, put in break, and then I put this out, and I click on this. Notice that even though the text down here has this extra space, it doesn't have this space because all I've done is done a break. So it just does a line break and goes down to the next line. Now, if I wanted to go to this paragraph, let's say this is the one I want, and I just wanted to go here and do format, and then I wanted to go to a line, and I wanted to line it center or left, it's not going to do it for me. It's actually going to line this whole entire thing because it's all part of the same paragraph. So it's little things like that that when you're using those other editors that come with the blog software, sometimes it puts in breaks, sometimes it puts in paragraphs, and then when you're trying to do stuff, it ends up messing it up. So this way, I think it's a lot cleaner, and there's no extra garbage in here. If you copy from Word directly into some things, Word oftentimes has all kinds of style information for what the text is supposed to look like, and it'll override whatever your website has. And so sometimes you notice the font doesn't look right. Well, that's probably one of the reasons why. Notice this font is completely different on here, and that it's white, right? So the text that I posted did not tell the HTML I used, did not say use a particular color. It didn't say use a particular font or a particular font size. The reason that I used that was because when I put it into this website, the website will automatically format all of that for me to a particular font size, and color font. And it's called the CSS style sheet and cascading style sheets. Anyways, you don't want to have to get into it, but if you've already set your style up on your website, you want to make sure nothing overrides that. And sometimes if you copy from Word or whatever other program that you're using to write your blog into your thing, sometimes it overwrites it, and then you end up with weird text every other time. So you want to be careful about that. And if you use HTML, you never have to worry about that. So I think that's about it. Now, once you've done this, typically what I do is I will go to, this is the actual page for this. So the next thing I want to do is I want to share this. So I'll take my easy blog page, copy this and paste it, and then I can go to wherever on Facebook that I want to do it. And typically what I do when I get to Facebook is I'll go here and hit paste. Now it's going to show this popping up, and then I can change this. Sometimes Facebook is stupid. I'm going to paste this, and I can put my latest blog post, etc. Now notice what Facebook is doing. It's actually putting in the picture for it, and then the title, and then the start of the actual blog post. So the nice thing about this is I don't have to do all that other stuff. I just post it in there, post it. Now, if you want to put it on Twitter or something like that, one of the things that you're probably going to want to do is go to a thing called tinyURL. When you go to tinyURL, I can take that long URL that I just had and say make it tiny. And when you make it tiny, it's going to give you this little tiny URL that you can use. Now, and the reason why you want to use this is you only have so many characters on Twitter. So if you go to Twitter, and wrong account, log out, sign in. And it helps if you know what your password is. Now, when you go into here and you want to set this up, again, what you might want to do is go into Word. So what I've done is I've done this, and now I can go in here and I can check, and it can tell me how many words it is. It doesn't tell me how many characters they are. But I have this, and again, I know that my grammar is all good, or at least my spelling's good. I can paste this up here. Twitter will then tell you how many spaces you have left before you post it. Sometimes when you put it in Word, it gives you an extra space in there. Take that stuff out, so it's right at the beginning. You notice now you have 39 spaces. And I could put other things, like if you wanted to tag somebody in this, you could hit @ and then put their tag in there or whatever. Once you have this, then you hit tweet, and you're done with it. So now my blog post, I can put it on Word, or I can put it into Facebook, I can put it on Twitter, and I can put it wherever else I want to put it. And that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions or comments, post them in the comments and I will try and answer them for you. Thanks a lot.